All right, troops, welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. I am joined by Mr. Action Flicks himself, John Jerva. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. So tonight we're going to be talking about the quickly forgotten Snake Eyes, which is been and gone, and nobody has really talked about it, and it is still in theaters because I went to see it the other day, and I'll just bore you with the story of why I went, because this is the first movie I went to see in the theater in I think about 20 months. The last time I saw a movie in the theater was Bad Boys for Life, so that would have been maybe last January, February, something like that, about that. So
that came out the winter before COVID hit. Yeah, that was before, yeah.
And I remember that was the last time I was in downtown Toronto. I haven't been down there since, so it's like a year and a half since I've been downtown. So gotta say, haven't missed it much. But so yeah, going to the theater the other day to see Snake Eyes. I went to see it in Oakville, and normally it's like bustling with people everywhere. And I was walking around, there was nobody there. I went into the theater, and all the movie posters like aren't there. It just had black screens where the posters normally are, and then it didn't even have a list of like the auditoriums. I had like a page, and it said, "Please note, Auditorium 8, blah blah blah, has a capacity of such and this because of COVID." Okay, and there's like all these sort of screens around and everything. I mean, I felt like I was in like some sci-fi movie.
Like Twilight Zone.
It was almost like I Am Legend, because I was walking around and there was like nobody there. So that was very strange. But then I went into the movie theater and there was nobody there, and I was like, oh, there's nobody here. It's like my own private screening. So that was amazing.
That's the best ever, when you're the only ones in, like, there's nobody else there, because then you're not going to get annoyed by it.
Yeah, exactly. So took the mask off and didn't need to have that on or anything else. So I was like, oh, this is great. I had my Pib drink and my Fuzzy Peaches candy, so I was happy. And then we watched the movie, which has been generally getting terrible or average reviews from most people, and I can agree with a lot of the points. It definitely has its flaws, and before we start discussing it, spoilers alert, we're going to be talking about everything from beginning, middle, and end. So if you haven't seen the movie, then do not watch, and wait until you've seen the movie, and then you can listen to our amazing, incredible discussion about it. But as soon as the film started, I started to really enjoy it. I liked the opening scene of young Snake Eyes with his dad and everything in the cabin. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting, and sort of paints the mystery of he ends up getting, his dad gets killed. Spoiler alert. And then we're finding out throughout the movie, Snake Eyes is wanting revenge against the guy who killed his dad. So, and that's basically it. Now, the thing was, for me though, is that Henry Golding was great in the role. I really liked him. He was really cool. His real charisma and screen presence and everything else. But Snake Eyes was a dick. Like he was almost the villain of it. And I was on hashtag Team Storm Shadow the whole way. I was like, wait a minute, I'm totally on Andrew Koji's side here. I was like, this guy has more of a sense of honor. Like, you've literally gone in, manipulated him into being your friend, and yes, you're looking for the guy who killed your dad, but you just manipulated this guy who's put his trust in you and welcomed you into his family, and then you're trying to steal this magic stone thing. And I was like, you're an asshole. That's like not okay. So I found him kind of a bit hard to root for at first, but you understand why he's sort of doing it, because he has to, because what was that guy called, the Yakuza leader he's working for? I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah, I wrote down, Kenta, or Kenta,
Kenta, yeah. Kenta, I think it was, yeah. I have no notes, so I'm just making this up as I go along. But yeah, Kenta, he was basically working for him and saying, you have to do this, and then I'll find the guy who killed your father, and you can finally get retribution. So, okay, well, I understand why he's doing it and whatever else, but whenever you find that out, and it's about 45 minutes into it that you find out that he's actually there intentionally, and that he's planning to manipulate him and whatever else. The cinema, thank God there's nobody else there, and I was like, you dick. I was like, how dare you do that? this guy's cool. He's like, and it's Andrew Koji, for God's sake, Moria, what's wrong with you? So that really annoyed me. But one of the primary complaints has been the sort of shaky cam. But really, that only bothered me in the opening fight scene. But I thought it was kind of a deliberate tact to just give a sort of chaotic fight whenever he's fighting the guy, the bare knuckle brawl thing. So yeah, that didn't really bother me that much, and then the rest of the action was okay. But I think the thing for me is it was generally quite bland. Like, there's nothing that really stands out about the film in general. We're like, oh, that was amazing, this was amazing, that was amazing. I mean, the final action scene where they're on the car carrier, whatever it's called, that was quite cool and everything. But you just sort of feel like it's trying to be like John Wick or The Villainous or whatever. I kind of just felt familiar that way. Not just in terms of the style, the visual style, got the neon and everything too, which I loved. But it wasn't G.I. Joe, and it never really felt like Snake Eyes. And the thing that really annoyed me was J-Man. If you watch this, you were 100% right. He said a few weeks back, like weeks before the film came out, and he said, I guarantee you that shot in the trailer where you see him putting the mask on, that's the final shot of the movie. And yeah, you're right. We don't see him as Snake Eyes fighting or in an action scene in the entire movie. And I was like, that's bullshit. I wanted to see him for the final half hour in the costume kicking ass, and we didn't get to see it. And I was like, yeah, that's not okay. And then he doesn't have the vow of silence either. So it's all sort of open for a sequel, which we're not going to get, basically, I don't think. So yeah, that was the thing for me. The way I see it is, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I'm going to put it on to you in a second and then have you go through it with your thoughts. So, the way I see it is, it's an entertaining action movie and does the job, but it's a terrible G.I. Joe / Snake Eyes movie. And if it were me, I would probably give it 3 stars. Which, because I enjoyed it. I was aware while I was watching it, I was like, I'm enjoying this. There are twists coming. Like, I didn't see the twist coming about him, manipulating Tommy or Storm Shadow or whatever when that happened. And I was like, holy shit. So that was a great moment. And then, you post credit scene, and loved the Baroness as well. Thought she was cool and really quite hot as well. And yeah, I like the mentions of Cobra and things like that, just to try and make it feel like G.I. Joe. But it could have just been any action movie. It didn't really feel like it was part of the G.I. Joe universe. I mean, maybe it could be if they were to do like different movies, but I don't know. But for me, it's a fun but forgettable action movie, but not a great G.I. Joe or Snake Eyes movie. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if fans absolutely hate it because of, we don't get to see him as Snake Eyes. And, the story isn't finished by the end of it. It's one of these movies where it refuses to give you a proper ending. It's like, no, I have to go after him. And then, he's going to be Storm Shadow, but there's no vow of silence. There's no reason for him to wear the costume all the time. So there's no proper closure to it. And it's just sort of arrogantly thinking, oh, it's definitely going to be a sequel, which there isn't. Well, probably not anyway, because I don't think it's been a massive hit. So that's my thoughts on it. Over to you. What do you think?
Well, I don't keep it a secret that I'm a super fan. I've been a fan of Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe since 1982 when the comic came out. I remember going into the store and first seeing the first issue and being like, what is this? And actually Snake Eyes wasn't in it right away. It wasn't until Silent Interlude, Larry Hama's comic book there was no words or anything that introduced Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I think that's when it even got better. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is that like Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe was created. Well, actually, if you go back to the original G.I. Joe, that was like late 70s. When they had the bigger figures, the larger guys, and then they went down to the action figures in the 80s and everything. So the history of Snake Eyes, I understand a lot of fans are upset because they changed the mythology of it. And I like Larry Hama, who created the character, he was on board with it because, and I agree with him 100% when he said that for it to work now, they had to do something different. And I totally get it because the original Snake Eyes character was a Vietnam vet. He was in the Vietnam War with Storm Shadow and Stalker. And he actually was injured on a mission. Well, not in Vietnam. This was afterwards, but with Scarlet and explosion, hit his face, and that's how he became disfigured and couldn't talk anymore. so he had to wear the outfit and everything. So and then he became a recluse with Timber and everything. But I'm okay with it because one, I'm a fanboy, but I'm a fanboy that can accept change if it's good. And I think they did a good job with changing his history. And like you were talking at the beginning, I like knowing more about him because it makes you care about Snake Eyes more. Because if not, he's just a guy dressed in black that's just running around not saying anything. Like in the first two GI Joe movies, that's what he was. Ray Park did a great job, but it's like he's cool and he's my favorite. But to regular movie going audience, they're just like, this guy is just a guy in black who doesn't say anything. So now it's like we got history, and I loved how they made his father a member of the GI Joe unit.
That was cool.
He was part. So I thought that was cool because then it kind of connected him to becoming part of the GI Joe unit. And I agree with a lot of your points. I agree with they could have done more with the GI Joe and Cobra mythology. I mean, they did enough to kind of be like, yep, this is in that world and everything. But like they could have had Samara Weaving and Ursula, who played the Baroness. They could have had them in there a lot more than they did. Especially Scarlett. She was hardly in the movie.
She was barely there. Yeah,
she was in the one scene where she kicked the guy's ass in the bathroom, and then I think she was in another scene. Like I said, it's been a month since I've seen it, so it's not as fresh in my mind as it is in yours. But it wasn't there until the end, which was cool because her outfit was pretty much comic book authentic. I thought was pretty cool. But it's just like I just wanted more of that. And then the jewel thing was lame. I mean, it's like they always have to do something mystical, and it's like I don't need a rock thing to blow shit up. It's like can we just have firefights and fist fights and sword fights?
Yeah, keep it grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was lame. I'm like, we didn't, but I guess we needed a reason, for them to want to send Snake Eyes in. So it's like, oh, you got to get this. It's like we want this because we want the ultimate power. Of course, but it kind of goes back to Cobra. Because Cobra in the comics and in the cartoon, they were always coming up with these weird, out of the blue stuff to like take over the world. So I'm like, I guess if you think about it that way, yeah, that's it. But if you remember it in some of our other War Room episodes, I was saying it's not a Snake Eyes movie if he doesn't wear the outfit. And sure enough, he doesn't. Because as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, God damn it, because I knew that was the last scene of the movie. I'm like, he's not going to wear it because. And I'll tell you, I'll give my star rating in a little bit, but it's like he needed to wear the outfit at least for the last half an hour.
It should have been the last half hour. He should have been in costume. Yeah.
It should because it should have been where he comes in and then he sees it there and then he's like, I'm gonna put this on, and it's like boom, he puts it on and he just starts kicking ass with Storm Shadow. I didn't even need Storm Shadow to put his mask on. I just wanted to see Snake Eyes because he was they were both technically kind of in their outfits. Although it wasn't the official Snake Eyes outfit, but that was Storm Shadow's outfit without the mask.
I remember.
So so I didn't even need to see Andrew Koji in a mask. I just wanted to see because when he put on the outfit at the end, that was probably the most badass Snake Eyes outfit I've ever seen in my life. I'm like that thing, and I loved how the visor went around his eyes. That was cool. Freaking cool. And I think what they want to do with it, like now, here's the thing, it's not making money, and unless it's still it hasn't even released in Japan yet. So, but I'm assuming it's not gonna, we're not gonna get a film. But I think GI Joe's more tailor made to like streaming. I think they should do something with the streaming, because
maybe a series,
a
live action series.
I don't even have to do series. I mean, I could do like Netflix make a bunch of movies where you don't have to spend as much money and everything because you can make a GI Joe movie without spending money. Because actually, this one was cheaper. It was like around 80 million, but you don't even have to spend any million to make a GI Joe movie if you keep it grounded and not have all this bullshit special effects in it.
Yeah.
So so like I said. But at the same time, it didn't kill it for me because I kind of knew he wasn't going to wear the outfit because everybody wanted to see Henry Goldman's face. But then I'm kind of pissed off because it's an origin story. And if we did get another one, I think they were going like the Batman route. Like he was going to be like, walking around normal. But then when it was showtime, he'd put the outfit on. And if that was the case, I would still be okay with it. But everybody's like, it's not Snake Eyes. I'm like, well, it's a different Snake Eyes. It's like they're doing something different with it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be exactly the same? I guess so with some people, but that's
Well, yes, in some ways, yes, because the appeal of the character of Snake Eyes is the fact that he's an enigma. That's the mystery behind him, and that's what because he's cool. He's the guy in a black costume, and we don't know much about him. And you're like, that's so cool. He doesn't speak. He has swords. He has a dog called Timber, or two guns, whichever one you want to see. And that is the appeal is the fact that he doesn't speak. So I think definitely for like the final half hour, they should have brought in the mythology. Then like some kind of accident should have happened, and where he lost his voice or something. I think that would have worked in the final battle. And he's in the costume, and he's like, okay, I can't be seen like this because my face is all fucked, so I got to wear this all the time. And I think that would have maybe worked better and incorporate the original mythology, because that one which you mentioned about the Vietnam one, that's one I'm familiar with because I had the toy of like with Timber and everything growing up. But yeah, the problem is whenever you demystify a character, they are less interesting. It's like the Star Wars prequels. I don't really need to know why Darth Vader didn't like sand, or missed his mommy or whatever it was. I mean, you totally ruined the character and turned him into this whiny little teenage bitch. And from being the most terrifying villain in the galaxy. So sometimes you don't need it. I was interested in this because Snake Eyes is a more interesting character that way. So you needed to have something, and I didn't mind seeing his face or whatever for like the first half, but the final half hour he should have been in costume, and
absolutely.
that would have been it.
And you brought up another good point. I would have been totally on board for him to like something happen. I mean, like if he can't talk, that's fine. It's like less lines for him to remember. But it's but yeah, he definitely needed to put the outfit on, and then him doing it at the last 2 minutes of the film and then they showed the Stinger scene in the freaking trailer. It's like where he's like, I'm Storm Shadow. It's like why do you do that? It's like
you ruined the best bits. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but here's the thing. Like I said, I don't know. I guess I'm more relaxed with it. I don't know how else I can put it, because like people are gonna say you're not a true Snake Eyes fan. I'm like, yes, I am, because I've been with them since the beginning. But it's like I guess I love the character so much where I'll take what I can get. And it's like if it's done well, I thought this movie was done well. I thought they brought in some really scary
I thought it was slick.
Yep. Yeah. But and then here's my thoughts on the shaky cam. Now, when I saw the first scene, like what you mentioned, you said it was okay because I was like, because it was really chaotic.
Yeah.
It was like, what's going on here? And it's like you kind of see him doing something else, and it's like, and then it's like, I had problems with that scene, but then afterwards it got better, and it's like mile 22. Everybody complained about that movie, but I was fine with the action scenes, and I actually thought Iko had some good shit going on in that movie. He had that really good fight in the base, when those two guys attacked them, and then he had that one good fight. He had two good fights. It's like but everybody I think was expecting him to do the race. But the shaky cam in that, I was like, I had no problem following the action, and I said that in my review. Same thing here. Iko's in it, and of course, is he utilized? Probably not. I mean,
he had a bigger role than I thought, though.
He did, and I love how he's making him look like a fool with the cup of water.
I love that scene. Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was cool. And then how he won, he was like, "May I please have the cup of water?" So I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought that was cool for Iko. But I thought Iko had a pretty good scene at the end. We was going after the guys and stuff like that. But I just wanted more of that too. It's like we just needed a little bit more of him. But the ending, I just love when him and Andrew Cody are fighting side by side, and then they break into their poses. And as a comic book fan and as a Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fan, I freaking got chills because I'm like, that's it. And if they were wearing their freaking masks, I would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
But even without the mask, when they did that, they did it perfect. And I was just like, that's cool. And that's one of the reasons it saved it for me. And plus, when they were fighting together at the end, I thought that was pretty cool. Because it was kind of like G.I. Joe Retaliation, where they teamed up at the end and they were fighting back to back and side to side. And I just get goosebumps when it happens. Because there's such a history between the two. And then they hate each other, then they love each other, then they hate each other, then they love each other. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the car carrier scene was probably the standout scene. And then when they're jumping in the air at each other in slow mo, I mean, that was cool. So,
yeah. I mean, For me, there wasn't anything where it was really jarring, where I was like, "Oh, I hate that," or you know, it wasn't that switch. For me, it was just the not being in the proper mask for the final half hour. If they had done that, if they'd done that, and then maybe done the like whenever they're having the firing the stone thing and it's destroying all the buildings, whatever, you could have had a piece of wood go into his throat or something, and that, you know, severs his vocal cords. There you go. He can't speak anymore. He's disfigured, so now he's going to, you know, wear the outfit all the time. So, but yeah, I mean,
that's the problem. That's the problem when you get an actor like Henry Golding, who isn't like super like Tom Cruise popular, but he's getting there. And if you get an actor, you're gonna the problem. And this goes back to, like, I always point out Black Panther, you know, with Christ, I can't forget his name. Now I'm gonna get killed because he's dead. What's his name? Who played Black Panther?
And now I might just go for.
We look like idiots. We look like idiots.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
I'm not a big comic book guy, so.
Yeah. But anyway, like they were
fighting
me. Yeah.
Oh, I hate what it's talking about. I always forget names whenever I'm on this. What do you think?
Especially when it's live, it's like, oh shit, I didn't write that down. It's like
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, thank you.
Forgive me, Chadwick. Sorry for R.I.P.
But yeah, him and Michael B. Jordan are fighting at the end, and then their masks are coming off, and they're coming back on, and then they're coming off, and and it's like the filmmakers, but they're like, you have to see their face. You know, it's like, no.
It even goes back to like Spider-Man. Like, they always take the mask off or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, even just all the Marvel things, like Captain America rarely actually has like the helmet thing on or mask on. And then it's purely out of ego on the actor's part. Where it's like, no, they have to see my beautiful face. And you're like, no, fuck your face. I want to see Snake Eyes. So, yes, thanks, Alex.
I think Henry Colby. I think he's kind of cool where the fact. Yeah, thank you, Chadwick. Yes, we know. Okay, so I had a memory lapse for a second.
Same with you. Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Chadwick Boseman. I was thinking of Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, I can't, you know. But anyway, besides the point. So it's like when you have that, it's like I think he would be cool enough where, you know, at least put the outfit up. And if they did make a sequel, I don't think he would have been in it. I think they would have just did like Ray Park and put a martial artist in it and just have him wear at least that's what I would have wanted. But like with Andrew Koji, because he's becoming popular now because of Warrior and everything. Yeah. And it's like, oh, we got to see their faces, because I think the filmmakers think that we won't connect with them. And I think to a point that's true, because mainstream movie-going audiences won't. If you're not a fan of this, or if you don't know what's going on, then you're just going to be like, you know, and I get it. But to me, I would be like, I don't want to see your face. Like, just like you said, I want to see the freaking outfit. So, and that killed the score for me, by the way. I would have given it a much higher score. But, and I gave it, because I didn't do an official review, I gave it a half a star more than you did. I gave it a 3.5. And I would have given it a 4 if he freaking put the outfit on. It was kicking ass. So.
Yeah, great comment here. Yeah. They need to be more like Carl Urban and Dredd. Yeah, the sheer lack of ego. He got it. He understood the character. Yeah.
That's the thing, though. I mean, but even with Judge Dredd, you still kind of saw his mouth and everything. So you still saw that it was Carl Urban.
You knew it was him, yeah.
Yes, and when he was talking and everything, you still knew it was Carl Urban, even though he had the mask over the top part, you know, and everything. But, you know, so that was a little bit different in my mind, you know, although that movie rocked. You know, we could spend a whole hour talking about that movie alone.
Yeah, I'm going to do Dredd versus Judge Dredd. We can do it at some point and chat about that. Man. That would be short.
I don't think I've watched Stallone's version in years.
Neither have I. I know it's horrible. I'm sorry. I'm a big Stallone fan, but Roy Scheider, whatever his fucking name is, oh god, just ruins that movie completely.
But the thing is, he was wearing the mask, and it all of a sudden, like, for the whole rest of the movie, it was like Stallone.
Stallone's ego took over. Yeah.
So there you go. There's another example right there. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5. And again, like I said, the shaky cam. Now, it kind of annoyed me because you got Kenji Tanigaki, who's pretty much worked with Donnie Yen. He actually just did Donnie Yen's Raging Fire as the fucking fight coordinator. It's like, I don't understand why Hollywood has to do that. It's like, don't they should sit like Robert, what's his name? Robert Schwentke. If I mispronounce his name, I'm sorry, but he's the director. I never heard of the guy, but and it's like, I think they should have sat them down in a room and been like, "This is the action you should film," and they should have showed him like The Raid or something, or anything that was
John Wick, even just so, because the shaky cam thing is sort of early 2000s, it's the Bourne era, whenever the Bourne movies ruined the action genre for about 10 years. And everyone tried to, let's do an action scene. You're what?
But Jason Bourne, the last one, that was the worst.
That's unwatchable.
It is. When I saw that movie with my wife, I'm like, these are the worst action scenes I've ever seen in my life.
I actually felt sick watching it. I got motion sickness. I had to go like this at various points, and I was like, I don't feel well.
And then at the end, just real quick, and then at the end, when Bourne's going to fight the bad guy and everything, it was just like, I didn't even know what happened. I'm like, he won because he was standing there at the end, but after that, it was the worst thing ever. But I don't understand why they think they have to do the shaky cam thing or the handheld cam thing. Just freaking shoot back with the camera, zoom around them, do the panning thing, and just show these motherfuckers doing what they do.
Let them do what they do. I mean, these guys know how to fight, like they're trained, whatever else. They've gone through lots of training for it. I mean, I just interviewed Brett Chan the other night, who did the fight choreography for Warrior. And it's like 7 pages of Word. So I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. But he talked about, he sent Andrew Koji off to Korea, and he already knew martial arts, but he sent him off and he learned from 2 masters. And then he learned how to use the nunchucks and everything for it. And, like Warrior has better action scenes than most movies. I mean, Warrior to me is like one of the best action shows of recent times. I absolutely love it. So talking with Brett Chan about it and putting all the fight scenes together was amazing.
I've only seen the first season just because of time, because there's too much shit to watch. And so I still got to watch the second season. But I forget the first season I saw it on HBO Max, and I freaking loved it.
Yeah, I think it adds a sense of urgency, which I do get sometimes. Like, it doesn't bother me if it's like a riot scene or something like that where there's supposed to be chaos or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Yes. But if I'm watching 2 guys fighting, then you can have the camera relatively close, but not too close, so you're able to see what's going on. I mean, you don't hire a fight choreographer and then hide what they're doing. They put in all that work to show the fight scenes, and then you're not seeing what's happening. So
I know it's funny because like Kenji did Raging Fire, and then we just watched that movie, and it's like, look.
It's like, this is how you do it. Yeah, I mean, like Raging Fire. Raging Fire was probably my favorite action movie of this year so far. I loved Raging Fire. I thought it was awesome. It was great to see Donnie Yen back in a good film again, because it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. You didn't like Enter the Fat Dragon?
No. And then the Iceman movies were terrible as well. But also, little announcement from you regarding Donnie Yen.
Oh yeah. At work today, I was going through my Twitter feed, and Donnie fucking Yen shared my Now here's the thing: he shared my review on Twitter, right? And he didn't just retweet it, like retweet my tweet. He did my title and put my title of my website next to it. So I was like, he put some time into it, and it's the first. I'm going through his Twitter feed. It's the first review that he's ever posted for the movie. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you tag him in it?
What's that?
Did you tag him in it whenever you shared it?
I tagged Well Go USA in it. I should have. But the thing is, when I do it, it automatically shares to Twitter, and I forget sometimes to go back, delete it, and go back and tag, because it doesn't tag when it shares. So I tagged Well Go USA in it, and they shared it. So I think that's how he saw it. So he saw it somehow. And I was
by the way, it's awesome.
I was floored. I mean, I got excited with Scott Adkins. I mean, Scott Adkins has shared a bunch of my stuff, and of course, I've interviewed him a bunch of times. But this is Donnie Yen. He's like the king of martial arts action cinema. This is, and I got a funny story. I told my wife, right, and then she texted me back, because she was at home, and she's like, that's awesome, baby. So at dinner tonight, and I'm like, you don't know who Donnie Yen is, do you? She's like, she actually got him confused with Mark Dacascos because he fought a John Wick.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed Mark Dacascos before, so she's like, I just get confused. I'm like, it's okay, I understand, because she didn't grow up with that stuff, so I get it, so it's all right. But she was still excited for me. But I think I can die. If I die tomorrow, I'm a happy camper because
happy man.
And it's still the first tweet. If you go to his page, at least an hour ago, it's still the first thing when you go on his Twitter feed. So awesome. You know what? I did that review at work on my lunch break because I'm like, I gotta get this, because it was Tuesday and everybody already was getting the reviews out on Monday, and I'm like, I just watched the damn movie that night, and I'm like, I gotta do it. You know what I'm doing at work. So, and the thing is, real quick, when I do it at work, it's like I make mistakes left and right because I'm doing it so fast, and I have to go back and check it. So then he shared it. I'm like, man, I gotta go back and make sure there's no mistakes in it. So.
I don't do it at my work because I'm busy doing my job and concentrating on work all the time, so I never write anything at all.
It was my lunch break. Let me specify that. I was out.
Because I really like my job and want to keep it, and it's very important to me. So there we go. I just made that statement. So anyway, back to Snake Eyes. We kind of went off on our usual tangent there, but where does it rank for you in terms of the 3 live-action G.I. Joe movies?
Hang on. Where's my okay?
Really, what's number 1?
Number 1 is Retaliation. I love Retaliation. It's more grounded. It's more like the comic books. The first one I liked, but they did like the sci-fi thing to it. It was kind of sci-fi twingy to it. So I wasn't, but it was kind of like G.I. Joe Sigma 6, which was a cartoon that they did in the early 2000s. So, but I dug it, and I love Snake Eyes, even though they gave him the mouth and the mask. I don't know why they did that. And I was like, I think they were just trying to make him look more personable. It's like, here, have him out. But it just looked kind of weird.
It's just weird, yeah.
But they still rocked it, and I love the part where he jumps over the car and he flips and lands on the car. I'm like, that was balls out. But yeah, so it goes Retaliation, Snake Eyes, and then Rise of Cobra. And Retaliation, like I said, has the best Snake Eyes storytelling action. Besides this movie at the end, when they did their pose and everything, they were fighting. That's probably a close second. But Retaliation is probably my favorite G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah.
And you got Bruce Willis in it, who's actually kind of acting like John McClane. So that was
acting like Bruce Willis again. Yeah. I think I'm going to be honest. I probably rank Snake Eyes 1.
Okay.
Simply because it's been a few years since I've watched the other 2 G.I. Joe movies, and I don't remember them that much.
And then the extended cut of Retaliation is even better because you got more Snake Eyes action in it. So when I watched that, I'm like, oh, it's an even better movie. I did a review on it. I'm like, it's got even more Snake Eyes in it. So
do I even have it? I think I have it somewhere.
I got it on Amazon.
Hey, Ron.
Because hello. Because I guess they released it on Blu-ray a while back, but now if you try to buy a copy on Blu-ray, it's like $100. I don't know why, but Amazon had it to buy, so I'm like, I gotta get it. So I got it, and I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember enjoying Retaliation, and then it's funny. I remember at the time everyone was dumping on it, saying, "Oh, it's absolutely terrible, it's awful," and blah 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 blah. And I thought I loved Cobra Commander in it. I thought he was awesome, had a great voice and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. In Rise of Cobra, I mean, it was kind of like the origin story of Cobra Commander too, how it was a friend of Duke's and everything, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, they totally went back and fixed that and made him the Cobra Commander. And how can you not love The Rock and Ray Stevenson doing Gun Fu at the end? That was the fucking greatest thing ever. Like they're like doing the equilibrium thing where they're like shooting
the gun kata.
Yeah, it's like that. And I love The Rock. I'm sorry, I know he gets a lot of heat too because he makes all these kiddie movies now.
Yeah, I like him. It's just his movies suck.
Yeah, but I thought he rocked it as Roadblock too.
Yeah,
and I even liked Channing Tatum. I wish that they would have had him in there longer because they had good chemistry together, him and Dwayne Johnson. But I understand he didn't want to be in it because he was filming another one. No, yeah, they got rid of Deathstroke. I think they just did that because they didn't want to have too many characters in it. Like it was just like, and that's the problem with GI Joe. There's too many characters in it. It's like, how do you put all these people in it?
And the one story, yeah.
Yes, I agree with
I
that.
can say, yeah.
Yeah, Ray Park was awesome. He's freaking phenomenal.
Oh yes, it does. Yeah, Andrew Koji. Yeah. So just stay tuned for the post-credit scene. So, yeah, Ron, if you haven't seen the movie, then you probably shouldn't be watching before now because we've kind of spoiled a lot of it. So just heads up.
We've been talking about everything.
Yeah, but we're out of spoiler territory now. But I'm just going to say that I did enjoy Snake Eyes more than I was expecting, because the way people were talking about it, I was expecting it to be unwatchable. But I mean, I enjoyed it just for one thing, I was in a movie theater for the first time in over a year, so that was kind of a big deal for me, and just enjoying that. I mean, I didn't even need to wear pants. I did, but I didn't need to.
Good job.
Yeah, because there was nobody there. So
yeah,
it's somebody said this review Nick Cage's Snake Eyes. That's what Jeff from Action Reloaded thought the other day. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
I got him back on that one because he was like, I thought you were going to talk about the proper Snake Eyes. I'm like, not cool.
I remember that. I saw that in the theater, actually. It didn't open with this amazing Steadicam shot. Because it was like Brian De Palma directed it, and there's this great Steadicam shot of him. Oh, I can't remember. It's like he's at the boxing match or whatever it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah, it was like 1998, and I watched it in the theater, and that was it. I think I maybe used to have it on VHS, but I don't even have it on like DVD or Blu-ray anymore. So I need to do it because I don't care what anybody says. I love Nicolas Cage and will always watch him in anything like that. I've forgotten the title. Yeah, Prisoners of the Ghost Land. Yeah. And you got Tax Hakaguchi in it too. I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh my god! Actually, Anthony Francis did an early review because he saw it for Sundance. So but I didn't. But I didn't read his review because I don't like to read reviews, especially if I didn't see the movie and I want to see the movie. So I'm like, so it's like I'm sure he did a good job of it. Like I don't want to read it because I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't read a review until I've seen a movie, so I don't have anything spoiled or have an idea put into my head beforehand where people are like, oh, well, I didn't like this. So then you go in and your mind is subconsciously thinking, okay, I'm not going to like this thing. And then, you've already got that. So.
Well, I read like if I know, like I read your reviews, and I read Jeff's reviews, like if I know you, I read them because you're my friends. So it's like, I want to support and everything. So it's like, but if I don't know you, it's like, I don't bother because I don't want to be polluted like with other people, and sometimes bullshit. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's a scene in Snake Eyes. Once again, Ron, sorry, mild spoiler here, but I know there'll be guys who'll complain about this because they seem to be intimidated by women kicking ass, but I love it. But the scene with 3 women, we got the granny and then you got Scarlet.
She was badass.
Yeah, with the fan.
Yeah, as the Rakshakage clan, she was. I mean, even my wife said it. She's like, "Wow, she was kind of nasty." I'm like, "Yeah, she was. She was like an 80-year-old ass kicker."
That was awesome, and I love watching girls getting ass. So I love that scene. But I know there'll be some who won't. So Ronan says, "I was hoping John M. Chu would get to make follow-up to Retaliation." I know it would have been cooler if they did maybe the individual character movies and then lead into a G.I. Joe movie. And that's what Ron's saying here. Says, do you think the new Snake Eyes is building towards G.I. Joe movie reboot or going in its own direction?
Well, that's what they wanted to do. They were going to do Snake Eyes, and then they were going to do, and there was even a title for it called Ever Vigilant. They were going to and do more of an ensemble movie afterwards.
Yeah,
but like I said, like I don't know why, but Transformers has always been more popular than G.I. Joe. So the Transformer movies, for whatever reason, make $8 billion. At the theater, and it's like G.I. Joe kind of it's like people aren't really interested. So I think it should go the streaming route, and because there's a lot of success in that. I know people love going to the movies and everything, but it's like I find it hard to go to the movies. So I'm like, this is no secret, but it's like if I can watch it at home, I want to watch it at home because it's like it's a lot easier for me because I don't have, because I have a family and I have work and everything. I can't just go out and go to the movies. It takes like an act of God sometimes. Like to go see Snake Eyes, I had to get my mom to watch my daughter, and it's like it's just not that easy anymore. So it's like
Yeah.
I did, like when HBO Max was releasing Mortal Kombat and Wonder Woman, and I was like, I could see them like right away. It's like I was all excited. So,
I know. I
but
mean, the problem is, like, I do like streaming, and watching it at home because then I'm saving myself $50 or $60 to go to the cinema because it's so
exactly.
expensive. So
But then there's people are saying that you're not supporting the movie. It's like, well, yes, I am because I'm paying the fee to have it as a subscription. So that money's going into, what they're showing. So it's like it's not like I'm illegally downloading it. It's like it's offered,
mhm.
So yeah. So but I would go to the movies every freaking day if I could. It's like,
Yeah,
and plus
would love
you
to.
can go. You for the longest. I mean, I've been going to the movies longer than you have. You still haven't been able to go to the movies.
No,
So it's
we've
like
been in
I don't.
lockdown for over like nearly a year, and the movie theater is like the last place I want to go because people are disgusting anyway, even without COVID.
Yeah,
So I was like, eh. So if I can, avoid going to the movies, I generally do. Like if something's going to be on digital, like a Suicide Squad, I was like, oh, it's going to be on digital. I'm going to watch it on digital, and I'm not going to go out my way to see it. So I'm glad. But sorry, I'll go through some of these comments here. New Snake Eyes seems to have mixed reviews. What would you guys like to see next in the G.I. Joe movieverse? I'd like to see a sequel because spoiler alert, kind of, but it has a very open ending and kind of doesn't resolve anything. So I would like to see the characters actually represented, properly. So we'll see.
if I got it, you never know. Never say never. But it's like, I want to see him wear his outfit, but I also like I want them to do what they were doing with the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's going after Storm Shadow. So that's pretty cool. And I think they should have like 6 or 7 maybe GI Joe team members. Where there's like a group of them and everything, and like take the most popular ones like Duke and Roadblock, and Gung Ho and Stalker. And like and Scarlet and Snake Eyes, and like do something like that. But have them wear the fucking outfit, and then have Storm Shadow suit up too. And even if they just do it where have Snake Eyes do it, but even if Andrew Koji just puts it on at the end, at least he's wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
You think it's in theaters or streaming or just theaters? Yeah, it's just theaters actually, because if it was streaming, I probably would have streamed it. But yeah, first movie I've seen in the theater in about 20 months. So would Snake Eyes have fared better on Netflix or other streaming service?
yes,
I think so, maybe.
yeah,
I think it would have fared better if it had been a bit more faithful to it. I mean, as Ron, we were just saying, and this might be a bit of a spoiler, but you should know this going in, that literally he doesn't put on the costume until the final shot of the movie. So we don't get any action scenes of him actually in the Snake Eyes costume, which I thought was a disgrace. And that is a bit of a spoiler, but you should know.
Now let me go back to what you were saying. Like I kind of like his story arc, like how he was a dick. I kind of like it how he wasn't the cookie cutter good guy. I dug it.
He was
arguably
like, the villain. Yeah,
I know. I was like, this is kind of cool, and then it's like a redemption thing at the end. But Andrew Koji's Storm Shadow, he's a sad character.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you said, what Snake Eyes did to him, like he took him in. He did the blood brother thing, and it's like, and then he's like, that was like the ultimate betrayal. And then he uses the jewel, which is a big no-no in the Rashikage clan. So they kick him out because he did it. But rules are rules. So he like totally screwed himself, and he had to leave and everything. But it's depressing.
I know it's sort of a tragic story where I don't see him as a villain. He was just wronged by everybody.
No, he wasn't a bad guy at all. No.
I like Henry Golding in Last Christmas. First time I saw him, never seen it, but I like him anyway. He's very charismatic and cool. Really like him in the movie.
My wife, of course, I've seen it. We watched it when it came out. Yeah, it was fun. It was actually a good twist on a romantic comedy because it wasn't the traditional romantic comedy, because there was a big twist and everything, which I saw coming after a while. But is
that Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones? Is that the one I'm thinking?
Yes, she plays the lead.
Yeah. I actually wanted to see that.
Yeah, and she's charming. She's charming in anything. Well, in these types of movies and everything. And I remember when my wife said, "Do you want to go see this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it stars the guy that's going to be Snake Eyes." I'm like, "Yeah, of course," because I never heard of the guy at first, and I'm like, "I want to see what he's like and everything."
Mm.
And then I was like, "Well, he's charming." It's like so.
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I thought he was cool. I loved the scene at the docks earlier on when he and Tommy are sort of escaping. And
Yes,
there's just like all the chaos in, they're fighting all the henchmen. I thought that was really cool. And any good action movie has an action scene at the docks. Everybody knows that. So, although they did miss out by not having any exploding barrels, there should have been some barrels placed somewhere. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so there weren't actually that many explosions in the movie. Now I think about it.
Here's what I love about Andrew Koji. He doesn't say a lot, but he oozes charisma. And I love the part at the beginning when he gives Snake Eyes the gun. Oh, I'm going to go into something else in a second. But I love when he gives Snake Eyes the gun to shoot him, and then he shoots next to him. I just love how his Andrew Koji's reaction. He was like, all right, and he starts kicking ass, but I can't do what he did, but it was a fucking cool moment.
I know what you mean. It was awesome. Yeah.
He does that all the time, and I'm like, why isn't this guy a bigger star? It's like, this guy's fucking cool.
He is the coolest man alive. Yeah,
he is. But I also like how he got his name Snake Eyes, because the bad guy at the beginning was like, gave his father the dice and said, here, roll, and if you win, you live. If you lose, you die. And he rolls Snake Eyes, and that's why he kills his father. I like that. I'm like,
that was cool.
So that's how he gets his name. It's like, that probably wasn't how he got his name in the comic, but it's like, But
they do keep the mystery there, because we never find out what his real name was, do we?
I know.
So I liked that.
But here's the thing: you got to kind of sell out a little bit, because if you want something to be, because it has to be successful if you want sequels, and of course it's not going to be. But you got it. If you do that, then it's definitely going to be a flop, and that's the price you pay. And I think I get that, and everything. It's like, I guess I'm just such a diehard Snake Eyes fan that I'll get anything I can get. I'm like, give it to me. It's like, I want it, And like I said, his outfit, that was like they pan up from his feet up, and I was like, I want that. That's like the best thing ever. That was like
give it to me now.
Yeah. But that's the thing that pissed me off too. All the promotion, like after a while, it was all Snake Eyes. It was him as Snake Eyes, him suited up as Snake Eyes, and it's like, and you don't get that. And like I said, that killed the rating for me. It's like, do I like the movie? Yes. Am I going to watch it? I'm going to watch it all the time, because I still like the movie, but I want a traditional Snake Eyes movie. Make a show, do something. I don't care. Do a mini series. It's like, whatever, but I just want to see this character kick ass on screen because I'm such a fan.
Yeah. Things you continue with solo character movies building up to G.I. Joe reboot, same method as Avengers. I would like that. And then you get proper characterization, but nobody seems to be looking for it, which is the problem.
Because G.I. Joe is not as mainstream as the MCU is. And that wouldn't work, because what are you going to do, a Scarlet movie next? And it's like, nobody's going to care except for us fans.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of us to make $800 million at the box office.
How was they compared to Ray Cobra Retaliation? Did they match Ray Park's performance? No. Ray Park, I think, still had better fight scenes generally. And also you saw them in their costume in Retaliation as well, which was the thing.
Well, that's the thing, too. And the action was shot better, too, in those movies. Definitely in Rise of Cobra, like when he's fighting Storm Shadow at the end, you can see what's going on, and you can see them doing their stuff and everything. Now, the only bad part about Rise of Cobra was their fights should have, especially their first fight in the pit when they first clashed, that was over in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, that's it? And at the end, it's probably like a couple minutes. And then they said, we're going to fix that. And that's why they did that whole middle scene in Retaliation, which was like silent interlude, the comic book, where there was no words spoken. And I thought that was the greatest scene ever, where they're on the cliff.
The cliff fight. Yeah. That's to this day, that's still my favorite Snake Eyes action scene. I love that scene. I remember from the trailers, I was like, that is so cool.
I watch it all the time. I love when they face off and they're at each end of the hallway and he starts throwing stars at him and he's shooting with the Uzi. And I'm like,
That was awesome. Yeah, there was no scene as awesome as that. I just want more of that in a movie, and we don't get that in Snake Eyes.
Should have had. They should have had. I mean, they should have more. Like I said, when they strike the pose, they should have had more of that. Because me as a fan, that was aimed towards me, and I got it, and I grinned from ear to ear. But I just wanted more of that.
That was the thing, yeah. Which character from G.I. Joe should get the next solo flick? Actually, Cobra Commander. I would love to see the antagonist as the protagonist, and I think that would be really cool, and see why he becomes who he is. I mean, yes, you don't need to demystify a villain, like I was saying.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, do you want to demystify that?
Do you really want to do that whenever, but I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. Or maybe even Destro. I love Destro. I still want to see Shockwave because he was always one of my favorite figures. I love Shockwave, the SWAT team guy, and Tunnel Rat as well. All these characters I remember. But any other characters you'd like to see in a solo movie?
I always like Quick Kick.
Quick Kick, yes, Quick Kick was awesome.
Yeah, I loved him. But I guess I always liked the big ones. Like I thought Stalker was cool. Like, he was an Army Ranger and everything, and he was kind of badass. And Gung Ho, was the like the Cajun chef and everything.
Sergeant Slaughter.
When they did that was the funniest thing. Like they made the movie and everything. Oh my god, that was the funniest thing ever. Okay, that brings up a good point. Thank you. Yes, Rachel Nichols was better than Samara.
Yeah, chords adjourned.
And
like to see The Rock return. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I liked him in Retaliation, and I would have no issue with that.
They were going to do a sequel to Retaliate or another one, but The Rock was so busy filming all of his other shit that they were trying to wait for him, and it just. I think that's one of the reasons why it fell through. So he kind of killed it, I think. I'm not sure 100%, but I was reading articles and stuff like that. That's the impression I got.
Yeah, he was too desperate to go make another movie in the jungle. This is my 45th movie filmed in a jungle. Jungle Cruise 45. I'm like, great. I mean, we got denied another G.I. Joe movie, but we got fucking Jungle Cruise.
But like I said, I know Channing Tatum gets heat too, but I don't mind him. I think he's a decent actor. And I like White House Down. Forgive me. I watch it with my wife all the time. But him and The Rock had awesome chemistry in that movie, and I think they should have done more of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Names you'd like to see direct G.I. Joe movies or solo. Okay. David Leitch, Chad Stahelski, Sam Hargrave.
Jesse B. Johnson.
Anybody who just knows how to film action scenes.
William Kaufman. I'll take William Kaufman. He's another one. Let's put him in the mix.
Channing didn't move his eyebrows in the first movie. That pissed me off.
I hated Marlon Wayans. Oh my god,
he was in the first movie. I knew there was something that annoyed me. There was like an Orko character or something in it. There's like the 80s comic relief character who sucks.
He played Ripcord, which was actually not an original G.I. Joe character. He kind of came in like, and it was kind of like built for him kind of type of thing. So and he was okay, but then he was just. And him trying to hit on Scarlett all the time, it's like, shut up. It's like I was annoyed by that.
If I think about it, I think Rise of Cobra was my first ever Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was Rise of Cobra and Angels and Demons, because I was literally just buying in it because Blu-ray was just coming out and there was only like a few, and I was like, oh, I'll just buy some of these and try them out. But I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I got the 3D version of Retaliation. That's how much of it. I was actually going to get them all up and line them up, but I didn't have time.
Sometimes I do that, but I got my Charles Bronson stuff up there, and that's fine.
So I switched my Snake Eyes poster from the wall to the door, and I put all these stuff. I'm like, that's what and my T-shirt. I got my T-shirt.
Yeah.
I've had this T-shirt. This is a Rise of Cobra T-shirt. They're like, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's got Snake Eyes, and in the back. It's hard to see, but it's got him fighting Storm Shadow on it. I love
nice.
This is like my priceless shirt. And it's the first shirt I'm wearing that it actually goes with what we're talking about, because I never have a shirt.
I know, because there's no reason for me to be wearing a Star Wars T-shirt other than I've been wearing it all day. So that was it. So, but I mean, I keep seeing a T-shirt online for Destro, and it's like 80s tees, and I keep seeing it advertised, and I want it, but like it's like $45, and I'm like, I'm not paying that for a t-shirt.
Well, I was trying to find more Snake Eyes shirts too, but and there's actually a cool place in the mall that I live in there that'll actually like press pictures on shirts for you. So like I was gonna try to go that route too and just pick a bunch of cool Snake Eyes pictures or Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and put them together and stuff like that. So, but they're expensive too. They're like $25-$30 a pop. It's like, you know, I could get one shirt a month, you know, or 2 months.
Or I could eat for a week. So,
or I could feed my kids, you know.
I suppose I could feed my children, but this really is a nice T-shirt. So yeah.
Well, let me just recap here real quick. So, like I said, like I said, the good parts, like Andrew Koji, he stole the show. Him and Henry Golding were solid. The action, was shaky, but I still enjoyed it. And like I kind of dug the introduction to Cobra and G.I. Joe because it was kind of like it was a Snake Eyes movie, but they were just kind of bringing that in. And I get what you're saying, where it's not a G.I. Joe movie, and it wasn't, you know.
No.
So I kind of thought that I would have liked more of her, of Scarlet and everything, and the Jewel, or that was probably the latest part too. So, but I would have given it 4 stars. I would have given it 4 stars if the fucker put the outfit on and freaking kicked ass.
Yeah, the fact that we didn't get to see him in the outfit in an action scene, that was bullshit, and that they really dropped the ball there. Would you work better as a series on streaming? Would you like to see more movies, franchise?
I would like to see more movies.
But I like movies, yeah.
It's not going to happen because they keep trying to do it, and and plus it's been Of course.
You should play the Baroness, just really go against type.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like I could sit there and come up and do another show with casting. You know, who would I want to see casting?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's like, who would I want to play Flint? Scott Adkins.
Yeah, he's got to have some kind of role in it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, actually talking about someone to have another movie. Actually, Storm Shadow having his own movie would be quite cool to see, like where he goes off to next and how he becomes, he is Storm Shadow now name wise,
and make it a ninja movie.
An actual ninja movie. Yeah,
it's just everywhere.
Ninjas thrown out the sky and shit like that, and nunchucks everywhere.
You can still see his face because there's no Storm Shadow takes his mask off and everything, so you can still have Andrew Koji, but he puts it on when it's time to kick ass. And it's like, and I would like to see him like in a Ninja Assassin type movie where like they got I love Ninja Assassin where like the shuriken stars are coming out like machine guns, shredding people apart and everything. I would love to see that type of shit with Andrew Koji. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I was watching the movie, although it's a family movie, it was pretty violent considering the PG rating. But if it was R-rated, then the action I think would have been better, and I think that's why they used the shaky cam, is to try and you're not seeing the violence so much because a lot of people die in this movie. There's like a huge body count, and I think they do that just to try and make it a bit more accessible for the younger audience. But I'd like to see an unrated version where you just get Snake Eyes with a sword just decapitating people left and right. That would have been awesome.
That's the problem. You can't make these movies R-rated though because there's a kids fan base because the toys are still out there, and I've been. And
they just didn't go see this one. So there is no fan base.
It's funny. I go to the stores, and I went to Maine to visit my in-laws, and they had stores up there. So my brother-in-law was taking me. I was trying to find Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow so bad. It was like the holy grail. It's like I found Roadblock. I found Cobra Commander. I even found a Cobra Guard. I was finding all these G.I. Joe figures, and it's like, and my wife's like, "Do you want to get them?" I'm like, "No, I want Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow." And it's like I would, and it's like. And now I'm going on Amazon, and they got certain. There's this one. They're $149 each, but it's a Snake Eyes and a Storm Shadow, and they rock. And I'm like, if I was rich, I would. They'd already be over here. So it's like,
in a glass chamber. Yeah. Considering the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow backstory scene in Cobra and Retaliation, was this new movie necessary? No, but no movie's necessary.
Yeah.
But is it necessary for fans? I don't know. I thought it was cool, but That's actually a good question because I'm sort of thinking about it. But I mean, I would actually love to see like an Expendables type movie where they're getting the Joes together or whatever, and you're having the team there, so like Snake Eyes is joining them or whatever, and they're fighting against a human opponent. And there's no supernatural shit or anything like that. Mystical
Yeah,
stuff.
no supernatural shit. Take this. I get it. It's like the cartoon always had Cobra Commander trying to take over the world with stupid shit. It's like keep it grounded, make it more like Retaliation. Yeah, and the weapon in Retaliation was actually kind of cool, like shooting the rod down, and it was like a nuclear. It was a nuclear explosion without the fallout. I thought that was pretty fucking cool, and it was realistic. Shit like that could probably happen. So I dug that a lot.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. Who else could play Snake Eyes?
Nobody, because here's the thing: you don't want anybody to play Snake Eyes except a trained martial artist because you want them to wear the mask.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see Scott Adkins play Snake Eyes because it's like why? It's like you want him to wear the mask. So like Ray Park, who's done movies where you see his face, and everything, but I can see why they used him because like he wasn't a big actor. Out of our circles, he's not a big actor.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, we all know who he is. His fan base and action cinema fan base know who he is. But it's like it's okay to put a mask on him. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, you're not going to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to play Snake Eyes because it's like that's the problem with the character. The losers. I like the losers.
I love the losers. The losers brought back something which has been missing from cinema for a long time: the epic, over-the-top bad guy death. And he's on a motorbike, and then he like goes flying off the motorbike, and then into like the engine of the plane, and the plane blows up or something. And I'm like, and then Jeffrey D. Morgan is outstanding. I always remember that, and I was like, yes!
You know what? I actually like Chris Evans in it. I thought it was fucking hysterical in that movie.
What are you talking about next? Well, I think next week. Next Friday night is going to be the next one. And I think that's closest to the release date because August 23rd was when it's going to be. So next Friday night is going to be celebrating 30 years of Showdown in Little Tokyo and the movies of Brandon Lee. So we'll talk about Rapid Fire and The Crow, Legacy of Rage as well. So we'll just go sort of through all of them.
I got a love-hate relationship with Legacy of Rage.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie started out so good, but then it's like they ran out of money or something.
Yeah. It's been a laser mission, mind you. But yeah, it's mostly going to be Showdown in Little Tokyo because that movie is 30 years old this month. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. And also, it's just a perfect movie.
It's one of the greatest buddy action movies ever made, I think. And I'm talking even more than Lethal Weapon. I'm like because like these guys like were freaking phenomenal together, and it's just like they just worked well off each other. And like Brandon Lee was going to be such a fucking big
I know it's such a tragedy. I know. I remember
that was probably the biggest like action star tragedy in my life was because I remember when and I'm not going to talk long, but I remember because I was teaching karate at the time and we were all standing in the back when one of us was warming up the class and one of my assistant instructors came up and he's like, "Did you hear?" He's like, "Brandon Lee died," and we were like, "No, he did." We're all like, "No," and it's like, "Shut the fuck up," And then I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah," and then sure enough, I got home and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "That was the worst
awful
day ever." Oh my god, worst day ever.
I remember when Paul Walker died as well, and I remember we were posting on the page, and people were like trolling the page, like, "He's not dead, you fucking idiot!" Blah 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 blah. And we're like, "Yes, he is. I wouldn't post it if we didn't."
I remember because my sister texted me that morning, and she's like, "Do you know who Paul Walker is?" And I text her back. I'm like, "Of course I know who Paul Walker is." And she's like, "He died." I'm like, "No, he didn't." She's like, "Yes, he did." I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's like I mean, that crushed me, but not as much as Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee, I was a big fan
Brandon
of.
Lee was like an anvil hitting your head and like knocking you through the floor.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that more next week anyway. So, what was the new Snake Eyes movie missing, or what didn't hit with audiences, in your opinion? Well, the fact that we don't see him in the costume until the very final scene of the movie, that is a massive thing. And even in the trailers, you could tell, wait a minute, this isn't really Snake Eyes. So if you're looking to go in to see a Snake Eyes movie with him in costume, not saying anything, that's not going to happen. He speaks right until the very end. There's no vow of silence or anything like that. So
And
that's a big
also,
thing.
for action fans, you got Andrew Koji at Eco US, and Henry Golding kicked ass. I mean, he trained a lot for this fucking movie. And you got Kenji Tanigaki, who, like we said, it works with Donnie Yen all the time. It's like, why chop? Like, again, I enjoyed the action still, but it could have been so much better. It could have been epic.
It ended up being fine and unremarkable rather than there was no wow moment. There was nothing where I was like, I haven't seen that before. It was just, it just mostly felt familiar.
And I kind of figured that going into it. I was kind of like, I don't want to set myself up, but I even told my wife, because we went to see it together, and I'm like, I think, I'm gonna like it, but I'm not gonna love it, and sure enough, that's what happened.
Yeah. So. Rank. Oh well, we actually did that, Ron, before you came on, but right. Just say it quick.
Retaliation, Snake Eyes, and Rise of Cobra.
Yeah. Snake Eyes, Retaliation, then Rise of Cobra for me. I did really enjoy Snake Eyes more than I was expecting.
You want to watch a real G.I. Joe movie? Watch G.I. Joe Resolute, which is an animated. It was a web series that they did.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They put the episodes together, and that probably has the best Snake Eyes Storm Shadow representation and fight. Anything. Watch that. It's only like an hour long because it was a bunch of webisodes, like 8-minute webisodes put together, and they had it wasn't like the original G.I. Joe cartoon. They had real machine guns, and they were shooting. They weren't shooting lasers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So that's probably. So if you want to put it out, I'm gonna go Resolute, then Retaliation, then Snake Eyes, then Rise of Cobra. So.
Yeah. Although I gotta say, I enjoyed the animated movie back in the day. From the TV series. I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember liking it as a kid.
They pussied out because they were going to kill Duke, but then everybody threw a bitch fit, and then at the end you hear the guy say, "Duke's going to be okay," but he died. You see him die in the movie. He breathes his last breath. You see it come out, and he dies. But then at the end they're like, "We can't kill Duke," and they told him.
I mean, in terms of childhood movies that traumatized me, it'd be Transformers, the movie when Optimus Prime died.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I remember seeing that in the cinema.
You know what? I saw that movie, right? And of course, I was younger. I thought he was going to come back at the end or something. And when the movie ended, I'm like, he didn't come back.
I was like, what the fuck? I know. I was like, and like the thing was, it was almost sadistic, that movie, because like they killed so many characters. Like, fuck this guy, you're cool, fuck him, fuck him. So it's just like they just killed like so many characters because they had to release some new toys. I was watching a documentary about it recently. I can't remember what it was. It was on YouTube or something, and their guys were talking about it and said, they wanted to release some new toys. So that's why we got Galvatron and everything, and then they killed Starscream, who same voice as Cobra Commander. I mean, retreat.
But
no problem.
Thank you. But in terms of the Transformer movies, I like the first one in Dark of the Moon, and then you could take the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Dark of the Moon because the whole ending is like Black Hawk Down, but with Transformers. That's why I like that movie.
1994 Street Fighter movie. Oh. I don't know if I'd want to.
Do I have energy? Do I have energy to talk about that movie?
I know.
I don't
know. I mean, we will at some, but it won't be tonight because this is supposed to be Snake Eyes centric, even though we've gone off on a couple of tangents. But I mean,
we do.
But Ron, if you don't know, like the Action Elite is a website, theactionelite.com. And I did a piece back on Street Fighter a while back, although I'm kind of doing a lot more stuff here now, so I'm trying to do sort of more videos and maybe things which I haven't reviewed or whatever I want to do on here.
I'm tired of writing. I told you, I'm tired of writing. I want to do video, like I did the Suicide Squad last week. So now I'm actually going to do a Raging Fire. I mean, I wrote Raging Fire, but I want to do a video because I love this movie so much. Did you hear some of the reviews for Raging Fire though? One of my friends who does Asian film fans shared like a negative review, and then I'm not going to give any names or anything because I don't want to piss anybody off. But there's been a couple of negative reviews, and I read them just because I was interested, and I was like, oh my god! I'm like, I totally didn't watch the same movie you did.
No, I know. I liked it because it was grown up. You know, there was no giant starfish at the end. There was adult situations, and you know, I loved the two main characters, Nicholas C. and Donnie Yen's like history and everything, and I just thought the characterization was great. There was heart to it, and I actually felt something watching it, which is rare these days watching any movie. But yeah,
and I know, and I know everybody's positive review is comparing it to Heat, which is understandable. But I think the shootout in this movie freaking is more awesome. And Heat, don't get me wrong, Heat's a freaking classic, and that shootout is probably one of the best
all-time greats, yeah.
ever. But this one rocked. It was longer. It was more brutal. Bystanders. Oh my god! I was like, whoa! You know, I was like,
come on.
And how can you not love Donnie Yen? I mean, the gauntlet scene, I call it the gauntlet scene, where all the guys are coming in through the door and everything.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Ever. All right, let's get back to Snake Eyes. I'm sorry.
Would including G.I. Joe in the title have felt Snake Eyes movie? Well, it was in the title. Like, the title is Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. That's like the full title. But everyone just calls it Snake Eyes.
Well, also the thing they did that because of Nicolas Cage's movie Snake Eyes. They didn't want people to get confused with Snake, so they didn't just call it Snake Eyes because they think people would have been like, "Isn't that the Nicolas Cage movie?"
I know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They said G.I. Joe Origins, so that makes it sound like there should be more G.I. Joe Origins. You know. Well,
do you remember they started doing this? I think people just aren't interested in origin stories because they're all generally done to death. Like, they tried doing this with the X-Men, do you remember? With Wolverine, yes. X-Men Origins Wolverine, and there was going to be a Magneto one, and then they didn't do that, and then that just sort of killed it.
They kind of did Magneto in was it X2 where they show him at the beginning?
The backstory in Auschwitz or whatever it is. Yeah.
So but here's the thing: I think G.I. Joe Origins would be okay because it's not like Spider-Man. You see Spider-Man and Batman. If we see Bruce Wayne's parents die one more time, I'm gonna flip their shit. But it's like, but G.I. Joe, a lot of people don't know these people, so I think that would be kind of cool. But I don't think do one at a time. I think like have a couple people in the movie.
Yeah, well, like I said, doing an Expendables type thing where you have him reboot it as a gal and call it Snack Eyes. Yes, I agree. His hunt for a Happy Meal.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Absolutely,
I would totally watch it. I would buy it on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital.
Speaking of Seagal, what was I going to say? What is it with my brain? This is what I call COVID brain. I mention this all the time.
I forgot Chadwick Boseman's name. Now that's etched forever.
I know. It's like, I just wait for the abuse. We'll go, how could you forget his name? I was like, look, I'm forgetting my own name right now, and like my friend and whatever else.
Hey, here's my defense. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to go to work, and I had a shitty day.
So I mean, we've had busy days at work, but you know, I've been working. I mean, I'm up at 6:30. And getting ready for work and then doing whatever, and then I do this just to keep sane, so I don't blow my fucking brains out at the end of every day.
Would I love to do this for a living? Yes, I would. Yeah. It's like we say we don't get paid, and that's why we're like super fans. But I still would be a super fan, but I would still enjoy it more because I was actually supporting my family too.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can make money from YouTube, so we'll just keep going, and maybe someday we'll start getting monetized. Because I think it's like you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and we have like 440 something or whatever. So
because they send me the every month they send me how my channel's doing, and it's not too bad. Like last month I had like 700 some minutes watched, but it's like I still only have like 100.
Yeah.
It's like today, and then like one guy asked me, it's like, Donnie Yen shared your review. Are you seeing anything? I'm like, not yet. Like,
I know that's sort of the thing. Is that, you know, sometimes you think something is going to go like crazy viral, like, oh, this is amazing, this is going to be huge, and then nobody cares, and you're like,
I'll tell you something, and if Scott Atkins is watching, I love you, brother, because when you share my stuff, I swear to God, on Facebook, I'm almost at 5,000 followers, and it 2/3 is because of him. I swear to God, he would share my stuff. He literally, when Triple Threat came out, he shared some of my stuff, and I was blowing up like nobody's business. I was like, this is I was like, thank you. It's like,
I think the big thing that helps with my site is when Jean-Claude Van Damme comments or shares things, which he does a bunch of times, and whenever he does, usually the site goes down or something because it just explodes because there's so much traffic because I can't take it.
And we're like Wayne's World with you. We're not worthy because fucking Chuck Norris approved you. It's like, Jesus
That is
Christ,
true.
You can't, I can't compete with that. Not that we're competing, we're brothers, but it's like, I'm like, you're Chuck Norris approved. That's like,
it doesn't get better than that. Yeah.
Cheers.
Seagal is Destro. That's actually what it was. Plus, you were drunk. Yes, JCD versus Seagal. Actually, that's what it was about Seagal. He was initially going to be Batman. Do you remember that rumor years ago that he was initially one of the people approached to play Batman back in like the 80s before Michael Keaton was like? I actually could have pictured that.
Somebody shared that on my I posted on my fan.
I think that's where I saw it. Yeah,
and I haven't read it yet, but I was not aware of that.
I remember hearing it, and actually, I'm Batman, and then minced away chasing after the bad guy.
That's like so.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
But no, back in the 80s, he wasn't like that. He was super skinny. He was skinny.
Yeah, he was cool back then. Yeah, I mean, like when you go back there, I mean, looking at my autographed Out for Justice poster there, and he looked awesome back then. And I was like, yeah, he could have done it back then. But yeah.
When he did he doesn't run anymore. You notice that, right?
No, I know. He wobbles.
But I will go down dying saying I still enjoy Steven Seagal movies. I'm sorry, even as
I love
Steven
Seagal. Yeah,
I love him. I fucking love him.
I think that once we do the Brandon Lee one, we need to do a Steven Seagal one. I think like people want to talk about On Deadly Ground because it's hilarious.
Well, the problem.
There's endless material for that.
Well, that's the problem. I don't have time to watch all this movie.
I know, that's the thing. That's why I just do.
He's got like 80 movies. It's like, holy shit. It's like, there's no way.
Well, we're only supposed to be talking about Snake Eyes here, and we've been on for an hour and 17 minutes.
I'm sorry.
No, but...
Well, this is what happens when I enjoy talking to you. When
I know. No, but this isn't a complaint. This is like, because it's one movie, so that's why we just do one movie on these streams, because we can talk about it for ages. So... That's why I think doing an On Deadly Ground one would be hilarious. I think that would be.
I'll watch that. I gotta break that again. I haven't seen that.
I'll give that a watch. So.
Like, here's the problem. It's like I have to watch all this new stuff, and it's like, but you were talking how you would rather watch stuff you already know you like, and that's what I do. It's like some nights I got a screener. I gotta watch this movie for a review, but then I break out Universal Soldier.
I know. It's like I want to watch stuff that I want to watch, and people are like, will you watch this indie film I filmed with my potato? No. Delete email, blog user. I'm like, leave me alone. I don't care. Says out of 10 stars, what would you give Snake Eyes? Well, on the site we do it out of 5. I would give it 3. Personally, it was like I said, it's an enjoyable action movie. Diehard fans of the character will be pissed because of the liberties they take with it, like not wearing the costume and things like that. But there's enough action in it, and it's well acted. Andrew Koji is one of the coolest people in the entire world.
If you're talking, well, like I said, I gave it, and it was the hardest 3.5 ever. I wanted to love it. Like I said, I really like it, but I wanted to love it. And I gave it a 3.5. I would give it a 4 if he wore the fucking outfit. But if we're talking out of 10 stars, I probably went 6.5.
6.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I know a good episode would be in the very under. Yeah, we could do Red versus Red 2. We can talk about that at some point. I mean, there's an endless supply. So, I mean...
Oh, we could do this for years.
I mean, I could do this every night if I had the time, if I won the lottery. If I win the lottery, I've got a lottery ticket for tomorrow night. If I win, I'll send you $1 million, and then we can quit our jobs and do this full-time every day.
So, I'd be like, hey, honey, I got to go to work, and I go upstairs in my office.
And that's it, yeah.
Oh my god, I hate my job. I'll admit it. I'm like, it's retail. I mean, and that's all I'll say about it. But
actually,
I used to teach karate for a living, but that dried up, and then I got laid off, and I had to go into retail because they're the first people to call me back. But I just got a new job, and it's like I that's why I love my breaks and lunches, because then I go on my phone and I start doing my website. I'm like, this is my real job.
yeah, exactly. Like, I have a bank account. I can store lottery winnings. Thanks, Ron. You're the best. I'll just send those millions of dollars over to you as soon as we win. As soon as we win, you look
We
after
should
it for me.
invite this Ron on the show. He sounds like a character. I would love to talk to this.
I know. So, Ron, at some point, if you're interested, I think if you want to join us at some point, we can come on and shoot the shit about action movies. So, you let us know. If you're ever interested, you can just send an email actually to me on the site. If you communicate, it's actionelite@outlook.com, and then just send me an email, and then you can join on anytime. We'd love to. Awesome. Okay, cool.
gmail.com. You do gmjerva@gmail.com.
So there we are. Yeah. Yeah. So before we go, do you want? I told you my Steven Seagal story before, the interview story.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I probably am. Okay. Well, because I saw that Alex put earlier. Please enclose $20. Yeah. So, well, Ron, Ron hasn't heard it, so maybe I'll tell him. Do you want to hear my Steven Seagal story?
I will always love to hear your Steven Seagal story. It's fucking awesome.
It's so annoying.
It's closer than I ever got. I was nowhere near. So
yeah. Oh my god. So, but 3 or 4 years ago, I was contacted, like, do you want to interview Steven Seagal for his new film? And I was like, hell yeah, I would love to interview Steven Seagal. That would be amazing. He's like one of the few action stars I haven't met.
Which movie was it? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't.
No, it was one with Craig Sheffer, because I interviewed Craig Sheffer for it, who was awesome. He was a really cool guy.
Oh, okay. I know that one. Oh, shit.
Is that A Good Man? Was that A Good Man?
No, that was with Victor Webster. He did that one with Victor Webster. Craig Sheffer was, oh shit, hang on. If you got a second here, I got my phone right here.
COVID brain kicking in again, where I don't remember anything. Where do I live?
Well, he's got a lot of movies. It's like, and I think I've only seen that once. So hang on. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay, there he is. Code of Honor.
Code of Honor. That's what it was.
That's the one where it's like he wasn't a real character. Like, he wasn't a real person. Do you remember that movie? Like,
yeah.
It was like, I think it was in Craig Sheffer's mind, like, type of thing. Not to spoil. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it was weird. Anyway, so it was supposed to be for that. Yeah, Code of Honor. Yeah. So I couldn't get the day off as usual, because somebody else was off, because they're always off. But anyway,
Calling sick.
I know. I should have called in dead or something. I can't make it in. I'm dead. Yeah. I got sore arse again. You know. But yeah. So I'm at the office, and I had my laptop with me, and I was all ready to interview Steven Seagal, and I was supposed to phone. So my boss, thankfully, he's cool. He's a big Seagal fan. He's like, oh my God, you're going to interview Steven Seagal? Yeah, go do it, and just let me hear it after. I was like, all right, cool.
That's a good boss.
Yeah, he is awesome. He's cool. So what I did is I would just take my lunch break. I was like, right, I'm just going to take my lunch break and go talk to Steven Seagal. So I go downstairs onto the 5th floor into the library room, as we call it, close the doors off. And we have Wi-Fi. I had the laptop all set up. It said Wi-Fi was connected. And the phone number I have was connected through Skype. So I was already, and then trying to sign into Skype. Wouldn't sign in. And I was like, the fuck, why is this not signing in? And clicking more frantically, and I'm like, why is it not signing in? And you get more angry. And then I ran outside to reception, and I was like, why is this not signing in? I said, is the Wi-Fi working? And I said, why can't I log in to Skype? So she said, oh, hold on, I'll get the IT guys to come in. And the IT guys come in, and they're like, oh, is that a picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme in your laptop? Yeah, it's a picture, but I'm trying to speak with Steven Seagal on the phone. And they're like, oh, you're going to speak to Steven Seagal? That's awesome. And I was like, yeah, well, put me online so I'm able to speak to him. So I was like losing my shit, getting more and more angry that we weren't able to get through to Skype. They eventually get it connected. You have one missed call. And they called, and I missed the call from Steven Seagal. And I was angry for about 3 or 4 months. Interestingly enough, the IT guys got fired the next day. So
well, how long did you have to talk to him? Was it one of those 10?
it would have been 10 to 15 minutes, but that would have been fine because like I had questions already. I was ready to go, and it was one of these times when the technology totally let me down. And I was angry for the longest time, but then was it last year? Hold on, I'll be back in a second while I get this.
I'm trying to see the movies you have in your collection. Oh, you can't hear me. I was trying to see the movies you had in your collection, but it was too far.
So, and then I got to meet him. So that was awesome. The Master and the Apprentice. But who's the Master?
I almost forgot what you look like, clean shaven. Oh my god!
I know that was a couple of years ago. This is my like survival Walking Dead beard.
What did you talk to him? Did you say anything to him?
Not really. Whenever I met him, well, I got him to sign this. This is to Owen, all my love, Steven Seagal, because he loves me. Yeah.
Oh my love! Wow, yeah. Romance.
I'm his little happy meal. So yeah, how did you find out they got fired? I won't mention that here, just in case you never know who might watch it. So we'll just all go on about that. One Missed Call is the name of his next movie.
Do you know something? Like Steven Seagal takes a lot of shit, and like I said, I know there's been problems and stuff like that in the past, which we won't get into and stuff like that. But a lot of people I've talked to said they met him or worked with him, and they said he was kind of a cool guy. You know,
he was fine with me. I mean, I spoke to him about that.
I think he mellowed out like as he got older. I think back then he was kind of like, "Oh, I'm the shit," you know. So when he was making Under Siege and stuff like that, I think he kind of.
Well, hey, I'm his happy meal. Okay, my guy says maybe he's fired him. I like fired him below. Son, you couldn't take a hamburger from Burger King, isn't that something? That's one of my favorite lines for Chris Christopherson. Anyway, we're kind of going off on various tangents here, and this is an hour and a half. We're only supposed to be talking about Snake Eyes, but just to finish off the Steven Seagal story, whenever I met him, I told him about the call not going through, and I said I was angry for 3 or 4 months, and he just sort of smiled and sort of smiled. It's all good, brother. As I said, and I was like, I love you, Sensei. And that was it. So I was happy. And I was finally able to put that demon to bed because it just bothered me for so long that technology let me down. That way, it was so annoying.
Well, that's the thing. Like I always say, I got to get a new laptop. God love it. I mean, this is my wife's old laptop, but it's like I need something fresher. You know, like. And I always sound like I'm in a tunnel. I go back and watch these videos. I'm like, why do I sound like I'm in a tunnel? I just got a new camera and everything, but it's like I sound like I'm in a freaking tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, there's a train. I live next to a train station. Now you know.
I was like, wow. Either that or it was like a foghorn or something, like like on the coast or something.
No, I wish. Ron, I'm still running Windows 85. Yeah, I mean, this laptop is kind of.
I guarantee your laptop's probably newer than my one.
Are you? Yeah, I mean, the quality of this is okay. I think. I mean, at some point, I am going to get a new laptop, and if this ever becomes popular enough and I want to continue doing it, then I would get a proper microphone and new camera and stuff like this. I mean, but it's all an expense right now. So I just got a new car. So
it's like, aside from my family, of course, you know, this is my therapy. I tell you, it's like I was so excited, like all day long. Like I was basically by myself for 2/3 of my shift, and it sucked. All I was thinking about, I get to talk to Owen tonight about Snake Eyes. I'm like, I'm so excited, you know. It's like because my wife works third shift and everything, and so I'm like, get to talk about Snake Eyes.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I might want to do another show before we do Showdown Little Tokyo, and it'll just be me and you probably, maybe over the weekend or something, not Saturday, or at some point as soon as possible. I want to talk about True Vengeance with Daniel Bernhardt.
I love that. That's okay.
Yeah, it's like my favorite Daniel Bernhardt movie, I think. So
that's my jam. I mean, that's Daniel Bernhardt doing John Woo. I mean,
yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah.
And
So
it's got I love Miles O'Keefe too. I always thought he was kind of like an intimidating badass, whether it was a good guy or a bad guy. I mean,
he just had his presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that next few days. Then we'll do True Vengeance, and then we'll do that one. So Snake Eyes, like to see it on streaming or straight to Blu-ray.
Well,
I'm going to buy the Blu-ray.
It's coming in September. They already announced.
Yeah, it's in a few weeks.
I forgot what the exact date is, but yeah. But I'm gonna buy the 4K. I'm a fan. And like I said, was it the Snake Eyes movie I wanted? No, but I really liked it, but I didn't love it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it.
And like I said, if he would have put the outfit out for the last half an hour, I would have thought it was the greatest ever. Whether he's mute or disfigured or not, I'm like that still would have been badass.
Yeah, I just wanted to see him in the costume in an action scene at the end, and we were denied that, and that was a real letdown.
Did you see like on Facebook, like the Snake Eyes official site and stuff? They were showing those videos where he's like swinging a sword as Snake Eyes. That was badass looking. I'm like, oh, maybe that's in the movie, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that's false advertising, and now your film died because of it.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I wonder if Ray Park was approached with Snake Eyes. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think they were from the get-go. They were like,
want to do something fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ray Park was phenomenal. Snake Eyes. I mean,
I liked him. Yeah, Ray does text count. Well, Machete don't text. I don't know if Snake Eyes does or not.
He can't put those gloves on. He's like,
no, I know. Yeah, and I got to go into the front room where there's air conditioning before I pass out because it's so hot in here. So
I'm wearing this shirt and it's like freaking wet. It's like I've been swimming.
Yeah, same here. I'm like, ew.
I have to close all the doors and everything because my little girl's sleeping. I put her to bed before this, so it's like I had to close everything. So
I had to close the window and everything because you hear trains going past. You still hear them anyway.
Oh, I know. I got a window right here. It's closed. And I was gonna run a fan. I was gonna run a fan too, but it was making too much noise. I'm like, shit. So
I know. I had to turn that off too, and I was like, oh god, I'm just gonna die.
So this is all I had. Keep it cool. But you know what? It's for the arts. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, check out the site and email you. Awesome chat, guys. Yeah, thanks, Ron. That was awesome. So always there to save the day as always.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Like and subscribe.
For the love of God, everybody like and subscribe. Press notifications. Leave a comment. Even make fun of us for getting Chadwick Boseman's name because that was a disgrace. But that was COVID brain. That's all it was.
Like I said, I was thinking about 1,000 different names at the moment.
I know. I find that though, it's just your brain just stops, and I'm like, nope, I totally forgot.
Now I feel bad. Now I'm gonna be like, oh, he's the one that forgot Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys, and so yeah, we'll do True Vengeance next few days whenever you're free, and then I'll set that up, and then next Friday, hopefully, we'll do the Brandon Lee special where we'll celebrate 30 years of Showdown in Little Tokyo.
You know what? I was gonna do my video. I'm gonna go watch True Vengeance right now. I'm gonna fucking put that on the TV and do that because I'm off tomorrow. I don't have to wake up until maybe 7 when my daughter wakes up. So it's like
if you're
I'm gonna watch True Vengeance. I'm gonna watch True Vengeance.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. Then maybe we could do it tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see everyone. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time. Peace out. Thank you.
Bye.